A quiet street cafe witnessed a gentle moment as a humble maid carefully lifted a spoon, feeding warm soup to a fragile blind mother. People walked past without noticing, yet this small act of kindness carried a powerful story far deeper than anyone realized. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. The blind mother sat quietly behind dark glasses while steam from the bowl slowly rose into the cool afternoon air. The maid's hands moved slowly and carefully, as if feeding not just a stranger, but someone deeply important. She had never met this mother before today, yet an unexplainable feeling inside her heart refused to stay quiet. Across the cobblestone street, a powerful billionaire walked toward the cafe with confident steps and a cold expression. This billionaire owned most of the businesses in the town, admired by some, feared by others who knew his past. As he walked closer, his sharp eyes suddenly noticed a maid feeding a blind mother at a small wooden table. For a brief second, his confident steps slowed as a strange uneasiness quietly stirred deep inside his chest. The maid continued feeding the mother with patience, unaware that destiny was slowly walking toward her. None of them knew this ordinary moment was about to uncover a painful secret that would change 3 lives forever. The maid gently cooled the hot soup before lifting the spoon again, making sure the blind mother would not burn her lips today. The blind mother smiled faintly, her fragile hands resting on the table as if she trusted this stranger completely. Around them, the cafe remained busy, but no one noticed the quiet bond slowly forming between the maid and the mother. The maid softly asked if the soup tasted good, her voice carrying a warmth the blind mother had not felt in years. The blind mother nodded slowly, whispering that kindness like this had become very rare in her lonely life. Hearing those words, the maid felt a sudden heaviness in her heart, as if the pain of this mother touched her soul. She quietly wiped a tear before the blind mother could notice, pretending the steam from the soup irritated her eyes. At that same moment, the billionaire stopped walking completely, his eyes locked on the strange scene before him. Something about the way the maid cared for the blind mother stirred an uncomfortable memory inside the billionaire. He tried to ignore the feeling and continued walking, but his steps became slower with every passing second. The billionaire had everything in life, yet a strange emptiness followed him wherever he went. What he did not know was that the blind mother sitting at that table carried a secret tied directly to his past. The maid gently placed the spoon down for a moment, allowing the blind mother to slowly swallow the warm soup while the steam drifted softly between them. The blind mother quietly thanked the maid again, her fragile voice carrying the weight of loneliness and the silent pain of many forgotten years. The maid smiled kindly and replied that no mother in this world should ever have to sit alone while eating her food. The blind mother lowered her head slightly, as if those simple words had touched a memory buried deep inside her heart. She slowly whispered that long ago she also had a son who promised he would always stay beside her, no matter what happened. But life changed the moment that son became a powerful billionaire, and the world around him slowly pulled him away from her. The maid listened carefully with watery eyes, while the blind mother shared pieces of a past that still hurt deeply. The blind mother explained that one day the son simply disappeared from her life without a visit, a letter, or even a goodbye. Years passed slowly. Darkness took away her eyesight, and loneliness became the only companion left in her quiet life. Hearing this painful truth, the maid felt a strange heaviness in her chest, as if destiny was quietly unfolding. Behind them, the billionaire had stopped near the cafe, hearing fragments of the blind mother's story with growing tension. For the first time in years, fear slowly crept into the billionaire's heart as memories he buried long ago began returning. The maid carefully lifted the spoon again, feeding the blind mother slowly, while people around them continued their busy lives. The blind mother quietly asked the maid why she was being so kind to a stranger. No one else seemed to notice. The maid smiled gently and said that every mother deserves respect, even if the world has forgotten her. Hearing this, the blind mother lowered her head, hiding the silent tears slowly forming behind her dark glasses. She softly whispered that once she believed her son would never forget her, no matter how rich he became. But when power and wealth surrounded him, the son slowly disappeared from her life without looking back. The maid listened with deep sympathy, unaware the truth of this painful story was standing only steps away. Nearby, the billionaire remained frozen beside the cafe entrance, his breathing slowly becoming heavier. Every word the blind mother spoke felt like a sharp reminder of choices the billionaire had made years ago. He tried convincing himself this mother could not possibly be connected to his forgotten past. But the trembling in the blind mother's voice felt painfully familiar to the billionaire's restless heart. At that moment, fate quietly moved closer, preparing to reveal a truth none of them were ready to face. The maid gently wiped a small drop of soup from the blind mother's hand, her movements full of patience and quiet respect. The blind mother slowly asked the maid what her name was, saying that kindness like this deserved to be remembered. The maid answered softly that she was only a simple maid who worked nearby, helping others whenever she could. The blind mother smiled faintly and said that even a simple maid could carry a heart far richer than many powerful people. Hearing those words, the billionaire standing nearby felt a sudden sharp pain in his chest he could not ignore anymore. The blind mother continued speaking about her lost son, saying he once promised she would never feel alone in life. But when he became a billionaire, the world celebrated his success while the mother quietly disappeared from his story. The maid listened silently, her heart breaking as she imagined how painful it must be for a mother to lose her son this way. Behind them, the billionaire slowly removed his sunglasses, his hands trembling as old memories rushed back into his mind. He remembered a poor home, a loving mother, and promises he made before ambition pulled him away from everything. For years, he convinced himself leaving his past behind was necessary to build the powerful life he now lived. But hearing the blind mother's voice now made the billionaire realize some mistakes never truly disappear with time. The maid slowly poured another small bowl of soup, making sure the blind mother would not feel rushed or uncomfortable. The blind mother gently held the maid's hand for a moment, thanking her as if this kindness meant more than food itself. The maid smiled softly, unaware that her simple act of care was slowly breaking the silence around a painful past. A few steps away, the billionaire stood frozen, every word from the blind mother echoing painfully inside his mind. He carefully looked closer at the blind mother's face, noticing small details he had not seen from a distance before. The shape of her hands, the softness of her voice, and the familiar way she spoke slowly shook his confidence. The billionaire felt his heart beating faster as memories from his childhood began rising like shadows. He remembered sitting beside his mother at a small wooden table where she once fed him warm soup. The same patience, the same gentle voice, the same quiet love now stood in front of him after many years. The billionaire suddenly realized the truth he had tried to bury deep inside his past could no longer stay hidden. Meanwhile, the blind mother continued talking calmly, completely unaware that her own billionaire son was standing nearby. And the maid kept helping the mother with care, not knowing she had unknowingly reunited a broken family. The maid noticed the blind mother suddenly becoming quieter, as if an old memory had gently touched her fragile heart. She softly asked if the mother was feeling tired, but the blind woman only smiled and said, "Some memories never truly sleep." A cool breeze moved through the cafe, carrying the faint sound of traffic, while the moment between them felt strangely still. Across the table, the maid felt a deep respect growing for this woman whose life carried both love and silent suffering. The blind mother slowly lifted her face toward the air, as if sensing a presence she could not see standing nearby. For a brief moment, her expression changed, like a mother recognizing something familiar in the silence around her. The billionaire standing behind them felt his heart race, wondering if somehow his mother could feel him there. Neither the maid nor the mother spoke again for a moment, as destiny quietly prepared to reveal the truth waiting between them. A strange silence settled over the small cafe table, as if the world itself was pausing before revealing a long-hidden truth. The billionaire clenched his trembling hands, knowing the moment he feared for years was now only seconds away. The maid slowly helped the blind mother drink a little water, carefully holding the glass so her fragile hands would not shake. The blind mother smiled gently and said the maid's kindness reminded her of the days when her son was still young. Hearing those words again, the billionaire felt his chest tighten as memories he once buried began flooding back. He remembered how his mother used to care for him with endless patience when their life was poor, but full of love. Back then, he promised his mother that one day he would become successful and give her the life she deserved. But when success finally came and he became a powerful billionaire, his heart slowly drifted away from the past. Business deals, fame, and endless ambition replaced the simple love that once defined his relationship with his mother. Standing there now, the billionaire realized that the blind mother sitting at that table was truly his own mother. His legs felt weak as guilt crashed over him like a storm he could no longer escape or ignore. For years, the billionaire convinced himself he was too busy to return to his old life and face his forgotten promises. But seeing a maid feeding his blind mother broke something deep inside the billionaire's proud heart. In that painful moment, the billionaire understood that wealth meant nothing when a mother's love had been abandoned. The billionaire slowly stepped forward, his confident walk now replaced by hesitation and the heavy weight of regret pressing on his heart. The maid looked up in surprise as the well-dressed billionaire stopped beside their small table, his eyes fixed on the blind mother. The blind mother sensed someone standing near and politely asked if the stranger needed the empty chair beside the table. The billionaire's voice trembled as he whispered a word he had not spoken in many painful years. "Mother." The blind mother froze instantly, her hands shaking as the familiar voice awakened memories she had protected in her heart. Tears slowly rolled down her face as she reached forward, gently touching the billionaire's face to feel if it was truly him. The billionaire fell to his knees beside the chair, crying like the small boy who once depended completely on his mother. People inside the cafe watched in silence as the powerful billionaire begged his mother for forgiveness. He confessed that wealth, pride, and ambition had blinded him to the love that mattered the most. The maid stepped back quietly, realizing her small act of kindness had unknowingly reunited a mother and her billionaire son. That day, the billionaire promised his mother she would never again face the world alone or forgotten. The story ends here, but the mystery lives on. Like, subscribe, and return for the next unforgettable journey.